are women allowed to deal with the issues of al-Jarh wa-ta'deel? Then we say that all of the Sharia, from its beginning to its end, applies to men and women. That includes the Salah, the Zakah, the conditions of the Shahadatain, or the Shahada, La ilaha illallah, and likewise the meaning of La ilaha illallah, and likewise the meaning of Muhammadur Rasulullah, likewise the Zakah, the fasting, the Hajj. All of the obligations and the commandments of the Sharia apply to men and women. As for that which is particular to women, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified that. Like for example, their dress code and so on. And that which is particular for men, such as jihad upon the battlefield and other than that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likewise has singled out men. So therefore, the origin of the affair is that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded the men with, He has also commanded the women with. And from those affairs that Allah has commanded both men and women, believing men and believing women, is that they enjoin the good and they forbid the evil. And the affair of al-Jarh wa Tadeel enters into the bab of al-Amr bil-Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, enjoining that which is good and forbidding that which is evil. So criticizing a narrator or criticizing a person of bid'ah is not specific for a male. A woman can also criticize Ahlul Bid'ah. Just like men can criticize Ahlul Bid'ah, a woman can criticize likewise a person who is a drunkard or a fasiq. It is permissible. A woman can criticize, for example, Ahlul Bid'ah such as the Rafida, or the Murji'ah, or the Shi', or the Jahmiyyah, or the Ash'ariyah, and other than them, just as the men can. And likewise with the enjoining of good, making ta'deel, enjoining of good in affairs that are, because that's an overarching issue, enjoining of good and forbidding of evil. But specifically in the arena of Jarh wa Ta'deel, criticism of individuals and groups and parties and dawa'if, or these organizations and tanzimat, these groups that are present in our times, and that is not particular to men. It is for men and for women, and whomsoever comes along and distinguishes between the two, and says that men are the only ones who can perform Jarh wa Ta'deel and women are prohibited from this, then that requires an evidence for which of course they have no evidence. So we find from the ulama of the past, or scholars of the past, that from them are women who would enter into the field of hadith and the checking of hadith and commenting upon narrators and so on, and criticizing Ahlul Bid'ah. Aisha radiallahu anha is from them. She would criticize the people of misguidance, or the people who erred, or the people who fell into fisq, and the people who contradicted the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Not just Aisha radiallahu anha, but many of the female companions would enter into that. From them Asma bint Abi Bakr radiallahu anhuma. So therefore, this is not particular to men, but there is a condition of course, and that is ilm. And ilm of course encompasses men and women, meaning that you cannot speak if you have no knowledge. The one who has no knowledge has no right to speak in any affair of deen, regardless. So if he has no knowledge of the religion, then he should not speak in any aspect of the religion. But if he has knowledge in a certain part of the religion, that he specialized in a certain part, to the exception of another part, then he is allowed to speak in that arena that he has knowledge, so long as he's from Ahlul Sunnah, and so long as he has ilm. So therefore, this affair of women entering into the allowed to perform Jarh wa Ta'deel, and in this era really what we are talking about is making naql of kalam, that we are citing and we are repeating the speech of Ahlul Ilm. So is a woman, for example, to say, is it allowed for her to say Shaykh al-Albani refuted Ramadan Bhuti? Answer is yes, she's allowed to say that. So does that mean that she has criticized Ramadan Bhuti? Yes, she says that I am free from this Qaburi, grave worshipping individual, Ramadan Bhuti or Abu Ghudda or other than them, from those whom Shaykh al-Albani has refuted, Al-Kawthari and others. So she says, so when she comes across a sister who takes from these innovators, then she says that you shouldn't take from that person because he is a mubtadi', because this is what Shaykh al-Albani has said. Or that if a sister criticizes Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq, this mubtadi, dal, hizbi, from the leaders of this Jam'iyyat, Ihya al-Turath al-Islami from Kuwait, and she says that you should not take knowledge from him, nor read his books, nor be with those who take from his usul or his principles, in the deen, a woman can say that. And then she makes citation and she says, this is the position of Shaykh Muqbil, Shaykh Rabi', Shaykh Al-Albani, and so on. So therefore, yes, from that aspect, and this applies to men and women, that they can, with citation, with quoting where they are getting it from, because we don't want people to blindly follow. And what are the reasons behind the jarh? And that is important, of course, also, because a person might say, you are criticizing so-and-so, you're refuting so-and-so. So what are the errors of Al-Kawthari? What are the errors of Al-Buti? What are the errors of Abdurrahman ibn al-Khaliq? What are the errors of Salman al-Awda, or Safar al-Hawali, or Osama bin Laden? What are their mistakes? So a Salafi, a person of Sunnah, he speaks with ilm, and he speaks with knowledge. And if he does not have knowledge, then he can say, for example, and it is permissible to say, that Fulan has been refuted by Shaykh Rabi' upon knowledge. So-and-so has been refuted by Shaykh Muqbil upon knowledge. So-and-so was refuted by Ahmad ibn Hanbal, such as, for example, Al-Karabisi, Yaqub bin Shayba, Al-Muhasibi, or other than them, or Jahm bin Safwan, or Jad ibn Dirham, or Abu al-Mansur al-Maturidi, or other than them, that they have been refuted by the likes of Ahmad, or the likes of Yahya bin Ma'in or Ibn Taymiyyah. They have been refuted by them. As for the details of why they refuted them, I do not know the exact details, but I know that Fulan was a Hizbi who spoke against the rulers and called for rebellion in the Muslim countries, and he was refuted, but I don't know the details beyond that. It is permissible to say that for a man or a woman, whether they have a great amount of knowledge or a small amount of knowledge. That is permitted. And if they say, well, unless you bring me evidence I don't accept, then that is fine. Then come with me and I'll take you to someone, or I'll refer you to an article where all the evidences are present, and then you can take their details and then come back to them, or send them a WhatsApp or a message or an email or whatever, showing them that here are the places of refutation. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.